introduce to you the new head baseball. He's not new anything around here, but he is the new baseball coach at East Carolina University. Cliff Godwin. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just running around crazy with my head cut off right now.
Yeah. You got a lot of folks that have come out to see you this morning. I know you had another public event yesterday after your press conference. And, we were just talking about this. The word on the hire, just so you know, is thumbs up. Everybody's excited about you being here.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to, bring back the vision that Coach LeClaire had. I know this is what the community wants. And, all the guys that I played with, my teammates, the coaches that were here, that was everybody's vision. So we're looking forward to get that back.
Yeah, I could not be more thrilled to have you here because we know what great credentials you bring and success you've had since you played here. But I was doing the radio during those years, as you know, and it was just a special time at East Carolina. And to have a connection to that era, I think, was really important with this hire. So I commend Jeff Comp for making that decision. But you were the perfect guy because you have that connection. You're an Eastern North Carolina guy. You're an East Carolina graduate. You played here. But you've also had some incredible good experience since you left here, and you've been all across the country, some of the top college baseball programs in the country. Talk about your journey getting back here.
Well, first off, like you said, Jeff Comper was awesome throughout the entire process. And, his vision and my vision parallel each other as far as where he wants this program to go. And the commitment level they've made to myself, our support staff is off the charts, and looking forward to that. And then going back to your second part, I've worked for, 5 or 6 head coaches. 2 of them are national champions. So, Tim Corbin this past week won a national championship at Vanderbilt. Paul Maneri won a national championship at, LSU, and I was a part of 2 Omaha runs. This past one was one that Ole Miss hadn't been to Omaha in 42 years. So it was pretty special to be a part of that.
Is this your dream job? Did you dream of coming back here to take this job?
I dreamed about it a long time ago, and then you're in the coaching profession, and you just don't know if the position is going to open up. You don't know if the timing's going to be right. And when it opened up this time, I said, "This is my shot. This is my shot to come home, to lead my alma mater back to better days, and to get it back in the national spotlight."
The program has not been bad. It's been pretty good. Billy Godwin took good care of the program, just never got it to the level where I think most people envisioned it would go after the LeClaire years. There was such a great run. It's not easy to get there, but you guys had a run. You were within, I think, a pitch of getting to the Omaha. It got one game against Tennessee, and boy, those were great memories. But getting back there has proven very difficult for East Carolina. How realistic is it in today's modern college baseball world to get an East Carolina to Omaha?
Well, you look around the college landscape, there's more parity now than there was back when I played. There are more people that are working at it. And East Carolina's not bad. They won 33 games, so you're talking about a 5-game swing, and they're, definitely in a regional, if not hosting a regional. So we are close. But it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of recruiting. It takes a vision from the head coach and the staff, a culture that you got to believe. I mean, you look back at the East Carolina teams I played on, we weren't the most highly touted recruited guys. I mean, I was recruited by East Carolina, not, any bigger colleges, so to speak. And Coach LeClaire developed us with Tommy Eason and Kevin McMullen, and we were guys that we believed that we outworked people all the time.
Coach, you've been a part of, recruited, and seen so many good position players at this level. You've been around great teams that have had really good pitching staffs and great rotations. In fact, I was talking to someone earlier before you came on that if you look at the teams that were in Omaha this year, they had great rotations, good Friday, Saturday, and Sunday guys. What do you think the biggest need is for a college baseball team to be able to get to that level, to make it to Omaha? I mean, good pitching, which I think ECU lacked a really strong rotation this year. They had a great Friday night guy. Hoffman gets hurt, which really was a thorn in their side. But what do you think the immediate need is for this program to get them back to the level where it was when you played here?
Well, it definitely starts on the mound. I know I'm an offensive guy, but it starts on the mound. You got to be able to throw strikes. You got to be able to play defense, and then you want a good offense. I mean, you look at our team at Ole Miss this past year. we were really good on the mound, but then we played good defense, and we were really good offensively. We led the SEC in batting average, and I think we were second in runs scored. So I think it takes a combination, but we weren't the most talented team in Omaha. I told our guys that, but we were the toughest team, and that's why we finished in the top 4.
And your decision to leave Oxford, which I look at Oxford and think it kind of gives you that home environment, great fan base, fun place to play, great baseball team, playing you under a great head coach. That had to be a tough decision for you to leave such a program that seems to have so much promise for the future.
It was the toughest decision I've made in my coaching career, because when I left UCF, I wasn't looking to leave. But when I went to Oxford, I fell in love with it because it reminded me of Eastern North Carolina.
Yeah.
You know, it's a small college town. People are passionate about the baseball. I mean, you're talking about a place that averages 8,000 fans a game. You've seen pictures of the student section with the beer showers.
Oh, yeah.
We hit home runs. I'm still trying to press Jeff Comper with the little jungle action out there, so we're trying to work on that. But, no, it was really tough. And the toughest thing is to walk away from the kids, because the relationships I developed with those guys, recruiting them and then working with them every single day. And, you know, I committed to those guys. But when I went to Ole Miss, I said, look, we're going to get this thing to Omaha. We did that, and I felt like this was the time to come home and help East Carolina get there.
Cliff Godwin, the new head baseball coach at East Carolina University. Cliff, if people have never experienced Southeastern Conference baseball, they really don't know college baseball at the top level. That is the top level. That's the pinnacle. We've had a taste of that here a little bit. We've kind of fallen back, don't have it much anymore. But, you know, the environment around Southeastern Conference baseball is pretty crazy, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. You look at Vanderbilt, they finished 6th in our conference, and they won the national championship. So you talk about going to war every single weekend. It's a war. It's a 30-game schedule that is just, you know, a pitch here, a pitch there, an error here, error there, a clutch hit. It's so close. The parity's so close. But the environments you're talking about, you know, is, you know, the South Carolinas, the Arkansas, the Ole Misses, the Mississippi State. When we played at Mississippi State on their spring football game, it was the biggest crowd in college baseball history on a college campus. There was like 17,000 people there. You talk about a tough environment, especially since we're at Ole Miss. I mean, people were trying to kill us out there. So, but it's crazy.
You know, the college baseball has become a revenue sport. Didn't used to be. Really wasn't much when you were playing. It was just kind of beginning to get there. But now universities are looking at baseball. You know, all these schools are building these nice facilities now. Everybody talks about East Carolina's facilities, but let's face it, everybody's done that now. Everybody's upgraded their facilities, and the people you're going to be recruiting against, playing against, they've all got good facilities for the most part. But the college baseball is a much bigger deal today than it was 15 or 20 years ago.
Well, when Coach LeClaire first got here, we had about 50 fans in the stand his first year, and it was our parents and our girlfriends. So it has definitely gained a lot of attention across the country. It's been more televised, more games on the radio. But the biggest thing is it's an arms race, you know, from facilities. I mean, recruits, they look at that stuff, and East Carolina's got a great stadium, but we got to continue to improve, and we got to get you know, Clark LeClaire rocking back like it was when earlier in his career.
I've told, you know, you have many parallel stories. I've told the story many times about how Keith LeClaire came to me and said, I need you to make a commitment to put these games on the radio. And I said, well, we do about 5, 6, 7 games a year. He went, no, I need every game on the radio. And I thought he'd lost his mind. And I mean, in 2 years, it was the hottest thing we could put on the radio. Everybody in Greenville wanted us to, and we carried every game, as you know. And it was the first time in history, I think, a radio broadcast, a team had full coverage of radio in North Carolina in this whole region. And of course, you know, I'm not going to lie to you, it turned out to be a big deal for our radio station back in those days because, you know, man, all of a sudden we had the hottest product on the radio. It was a lot of fun. That was a neat thing. But Coach LeClaire had that vision, and he also had the ability to sell the program. He sold it to me, he sold it to you. So, I mean, that's your job now, right?
No, absolutely. And Eastern North Carolina is very passionate about their baseball, passionate about East Carolina University. And we got to get people fired up about it. We got to get people in the stands and people following us on the radio, and we'll do that.
And Coach, speaking of Coach LeClaire, a close friend of Henry's and a guy we still talk about so much. Is there any one thing that you can remember from your playing days under him that you've taken with you since you've been a coach that's made you more successful?
Just the way he invested in the players, the way he treated the players. It didn't matter if you were the best guy on the team or the 35th guy on the team. He treated you the same way, treated you as a good human being. He wanted us to go out into society and be better people. I mean, that was the end of the day, and that made us better baseball players. It made us have more confidence on the field, but just the way he treated players.
And we also hear, too, that you throw the hardest BP of any coach in the country. Will you continue doing that now that you're a head coach?
Hey, where did you hear that from? Number one, I'm impressed that you've heard that. But number two, it's the truth, and not only is the hardest, it's the best in the country. So every hitter should want to come play here.
We got one better than that. Will you eat fire? We hear that you've actually gone out on the field and eaten fire before.
I've eaten fire, but the most impressive thing I've done is broken a board with my head.
I saw that video also.
Because I was so nervous. We were playing Florida, and the guy that was getting me to do it was like, hey, just get in front of the team and do this. I'm like, I've never done this before. He goes, just go for it. And I just went for it.
This is Sonny Randall stuff. This kind of stuff.
Stuff
Sonny Randall did back in the '70s to get the crowd fired up about East Carolina football. But you really have. If people go to YouTube and put your name in, they'll see some interesting things that you've done. I mean, have you done that really just to motivate the players and the fans?
Yeah, it was in a team meeting both times, and the kids really got a kick out of it because the kids had done some of the same stuff, but I was the first one to kind of go for it. Yeah. And
where'd you learn how to eat fire, by the way?
It's not that hard. It looks a lot. Hey, it looks
It looks pretty hard to me.
Looks a lot scarier than it is, I guess you could say. So, but I can't give out all my secrets on the radio.
Cliff Godwin, the new baseball coach at ECU. And McGee, you may have to take off, but if you got anything else before you go, you just want to say?
Just congrats, Coach. Welcome back. It's so good to have you back, man. Looking forward to what I know you can bring to this program. So
I appreciate you saying that.
Cliff Godwin, the new head baseball coach at ECU. I got to know your family, your father, who was a legendary coach over at Green Central High School. This has got to be special for your family. I know your mom and dad must be thrilled as well, and all the friends, people you grew up with, to see you come back here and get this head coaching job.
Very special moment yesterday at the press conference with my family being there, but my teammates. There were 6 or 7 guys that I played with, several coaches, my high school coach, James Rabbit Fulgham, several coaches that helped me along.
George Whitfield?
George Whitfield.
I saw that picture in the paper this morning.
Yeah, no doubt. So a lot of support, a lot of people that, obviously support me, but they love East Carolina and love East Carolina baseball, so very special.
What are you doing now? What's job one, recruiting or hiring a staff, or both?
Both. No sleep. It's we actually got a couple candidates coming in this weekend. That's the number one priority, and then the 1A and 1B. 1B being talking to all the guys that are on the current roster that are not on campus. Reaching out to them, letting them know that they're part of the family. Sharing my vision briefly on the phone, and telling them how fired up I am to be the head coach at East Carolina.
Are you worried about moving into? I mean, when a coach leaves and a new coach comes in, you didn't recruit these guys. They're going to be guys that probably have some trepidation about where you are on them and where they are on you and that kind of thing. How do you get through that? I mean, you must have thought through that and been through it before.
Yeah, I think when they meet me and they see the passion I have for East Carolina baseball and the teams that I played on, I mean, they're part of the family. They're part of East Carolina baseball. But the way I feel about East Carolina, no way they can't see that I want the best for them and for our university. So I think it'll be an easy transition.
Have you had a chance to assess this team and say, here's what I think we need?
Briefly yesterday for a couple hours, the 2 of the assistant coaches and myself went through the roster, kind of gave me scout reports on every single player. So I have a brief idea. As far as what we will need in the future, I have no idea, because the biggest thing is this fall is to go evaluate our team and say, hey, we're good here, we're a little bit short there, and to be able to go out and recruit those guys.
What about a staff? When are you going to make staff decisions? I know you must already be working on that.
Oh, yeah. We got through the interview processes this weekend, got a couple guys coming in. So hopefully by early next week, I think July 1 is going to be their first official day. But I'll have some decisions by then.
when you're a guy in your position, you must have been making your short list all these years. You know, if I ever get a head job, I want this guy or I want that guy. Is that the way that works?
Well, it is. I mean, before I was offered the job, I was reaching out to some guys in Omaha and just saying, hey, would you have interest if I got this job? But I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of great assistants across the country, and because of my track record in the profession, it's been easy to make good connections.
Cliff Godwin, the new baseball coach at ECU. You spent time at Notre Dame. You spent time at LSU, Ole Miss, Central Florida since you left here. UNC Wilmington. You coach with Mark Scaff, who I've always really admired and thought's a great guy down in Wilmington. Talk about your experience as an assistant coach going to those programs and what it did for you and what you gained from all that.
Well, each head coach that I worked for had a little bit different style, but they all were successful in their own way. So I've been able to take, a piece of each guy in every different aspect of running a college baseball program and become who I am today. And I think it's prepared me in a tremendous way. And also by growing up in a house of a coach, my dad, it wasn't always easy. I can promise you that, but it was a good start to where my career would go.
Did you learn how to shag? Because your dad is one of the great Eastern North Carolina shaggers.
My best friend John Williamson and Bryant Ward talk about that all the time. And
I was the most shocked that when I saw your old man shagging, I went, "Oh my God, that's Cliff Godwin's dad! Look at him dance."
He's like world renowned, and the thing is, he's getting a little bit too old now. Had some back problems, but I can
he's
tell
probably
you,
listening to you right
I hope he's listening. So he's just got his golf game good, but I cannot shag. But I can dance a little bit, but I cannot shag. I'll go with that. So.
But you can eat fire.
I can eat fire.
That makes up for it. The other thing that we all remember about your playing days here is the fact that you were kind of the consummate student athlete. You were as I recall, about a 4.0 student here.
Not quite, but I was a two-time academic All-American, and I was just blessed. My mom was the academic side. My dad was the athletic side.
Yeah.
And when I got to college, I just focused on doing good in school.
But when you're a coach, and you got these kids that don't want to go to class and things like that. I mean, you're a guy who you didn't just talk the talk. You walk the walk. You can tell them what it's like and what it means to them.
Yeah, our guys are going to be dedicated in the classroom. I think it's important because I talk about it as being a lifestyle. I think excellence is a lifestyle. I don't think it's a switch you can flip on and off. And our guys are going to go to class. They're going to go to their tutors. If you're a 3.5 student, be a 3.5 student. If you're a 2.75 student, then be a 2.75 student. And I'm very big on that. Bryant Ward and John Williamson would have a little tough time probably, playing for me now. I know they'll get a kick out of that.
Jim Ward's listed right now. You're off his list. There you go. There goes the big donation to the baseball program.
Well, just to say, I will say this because Jim Ward's, like a second father to me. But Bryant and John are two of the smartest guys I know. They just weren't as dedicated to the classroom in college while we were playing baseball.
I knew what you meant, but a lot of other people haven't known those guys. In fact, I see John all the time now, and Bryant, I guess, is still coaching out on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, Bryant's done a tremendous job at Loyola Marymount, and I think he's had back-to-back top 25 recruiting classes there, and we stay in touch. I talked to him last night, like at 11:30 when I was going to the hotel, and we just got so much support from the alumni that are my close friends. The best thing about me coming to East Carolina University back in the fall of '96 was the best friends in my life I played with. When I get married one day, they're going to stand in my wedding, and they're the best friends I have.
Speaking of that, you come back here a single man. You left here a single man. You're coming back here a single man.
I work too hard, man. You guys don't want me to get married too soon because we got to get East Carolina baseball back on top.
Yeah.
So.
Well, listen, it's great having you back in Greenville.
Well, Henry, I appreciate you taking the time with me this morning.
Yeah, no, thank you for taking the time to come over here today. A lot of folks have shown up to say hi. I know you got other things to do, but you might want to get around and say hello to some of these folks. You know how I felt about Keith LeClaire, and I was such a I've talked about this over the years. I did basketball games at Carolina, traveled with Michael Jordan and Dean Smith. I never had as much fun doing sports on the radio as when I traveled with you guys and did those games during the Keith LeClaire years. And Keith just became a close friend, and it's just I can't tell you how excited I am to have you back here carrying on his legacy and and getting this program to Omaha, which, you know, that's all he talked about.
Yeah.
And, you know, we hadn't heard a lot of that in recent years. So.
Well, you got to embrace it as a coach. I mean, you know, that's the goal of the programs, to get to Omaha. Now, the expectation from the fans and the administration can't be that we get there every year, because the program's never been there. But the goal is to knock that door down and get to Omaha, and we can do that. If I didn't think we could do that, I wouldn't be sitting here as the head coach at East Carolina today.